first and foremost, Tucker, you mentioned Kim Foxx in Chicago, and I just want to say what you forgot to mention is the fact that she's both black and a female. And also the mayor of Chicago is black and a female.
Let me get back to the issue, however, of black conservatives. And I've touched on this subject on many, many occasions, and I'm going to touch on it now, but never before have I touched on this subject the way that I'm going to right now. There's a lot of times it could be a Candace Owens. It could be a Larry Elder. To a lesser degree, it could be a Byron Donald. I remember Armstrong.
Okay, so Stephen A. Smith is about to drag Candace Owens along with everybody else, all these other so-called black conservatives, for, I guess, not getting spots in Trump's cabinet, right? But my goodness, he does this thing when he talks that he takes his time to let it all melt through. Guys, please don't forget to hit the like and subscribe button and the notification bell. Thank you to every eye who lands on this video. It is going to be a little annoying because of all the pausing. I'm not going to be able to edit all that out. Like, bro, stop preaching, man. Just talk, bro.
Williams, he's been out there for many, many years. I've known him for many, many years. Even to a lesser degree, somebody like Sage Steele, who used to work at ESPN and now, you know, helped the Trump campaign. And who knows, for all we know, I don't think she's interested in it, but who knows? She might end up being press secretary one day. I don't know. Whatever it is, I hope she does well. I wish her well. Sage and I got along. Let me say this. Over the years, we've seen a level of vitriol emanating from black conservatives to a point where people who are not conservative vilified them because of it. I was never down with that. I'm a registered independent who primarily votes Democrat. There have been several occasions I've been tempted to vote Republican, to vote conservative. Hell, some of the times I regretted I didn't. And who knows what the future holds with me with some of the nonsense that I saw from the left, particularly leading up to this election.
I think Stephen A. Smith tries really hard to see if he could break his record of looking ridiculous, right? So, okay, let's keep it real. He did do his thing with Sunny Hostin. I will say, out of all the men that have been on that show, I think he might have handled her a lot better than the rest. I don't know where that really came from, because we know that this man doesn't really, you know, that's not really his thing, okay? But anyway, but this right here, saying that you're an independent who votes Democrat. You're a Democrat, okay? And sometimes you felt like you wanted to vote conservative, but you didn't, and you even regretted it. But you're still holding on to voting Democrat. What is this shackle? Release it. And so this must be the vitriol that people are talking about, right? Let it go. What if the Democrats done for you? Vote for you, no matter who it is.
With woke and cancel culture and all of that stuff. But that's a different story for another day. Here's the point that I want to make. While finding myself wishing that the inordinate amount of black conservatives that have been out there and are still out there would sort of dial back their vitriolic responses to the venom that's been thrown in their direction, I've rarely blamed them. Because you got people in here looking at folks from the conservative side who happen to be black, calling them sellouts and coons and all of these kind of negative connotations, showing them no respect as human beings just because you don't agree and side with their ideology. Who the hell are you?
But who the hell are you to say that they were throwing vitriol? When Candace said that the Democrats are using black people, why did that make black people so mad? That's what they do. Like, I mean, look, it is what it is, right? They know that's...
Well, first and foremost, Tucker, you mentioned Kim Foxx in Chicago, and I just want to say what you forgot to mention is the fact that she's both black and a female. and also the mayor of Chicago is black and a female. So I just want to introduce that because, you know, diversity and equity and inclusion and fluffy words that are supposed to make you feel good, even though they're doing bad, before they introduce the bait and the switch. It's infuriating to watch your monologue. It's infuriating to watch the monologue, look at all the crime, look at the statistics, and look at the laws behind it. Because you know what it makes me think? You know what it makes the American people think? The criminals are on the streets, but the worst criminals are in office. They're voting on pieces of legislation. They're pushing through pieces of policies that are harming the American people, and they know it's harming the American people. The thing is, they just don't care.
Their base, that's their go-to. They barely, you look, to be honest, lately they haven't been even sending y'all the message. Any black folk who voting Democrat watching this, they haven't, right? So I don't even understand why that's vitriol. You know, before I even knew who she was, I remember seeing a clip of her saying a few things that didn't sound like the status quo allowed narrative for the black person. And I was like, and then T.I. called her out of her name. He called her a B. And I was like, yo, man, is it necessary? Like, I don't know this chick, and I don't know if she's really, because at the time I was not savvy at all. And I was like, I don't know what she's about, but I don't think we need to call her a B because she simply is talking and she's saying something that you don't agree with. It makes you look so low IQ. So what is he talking about vitriol? Like, can you get to the point?
Some of listen, most of my friends are liberal. Some of them are conservatives. I have no problem with any of them. All I want to hear is what your point of view is and why. And if you make sense and it's fact-based and it's not dominated by emotion trying to usurp the facts, I'm good with you. Even if I don't agree with you, because I know your position is based on fact. And for folks outside of the conservative community to look at people who are black and excoriate them just because they're conservative, who the hell are you? Where are your facts? There's a lot of history that goes into stuff. You can see it one way or another, but it's undeniable that bipartisanship played the role. Civil rights legislation, voting rights legislation, affirmative action, and things of that nature. Conservatives did play a role in some good things that happened in our society. The left and Democrats have been hypocritical in certain respects. So if we're going to call balls and strikes, call balls and strikes. But we didn't do that. And we never do that when that comes to black conservatives. And don't use this as an opportunity to say, Stephen A., oh, he's a conservative. Well, damn it, I'm not yet, but I might be one day. Because I don't like the shit I've been seeing. But my
What is so hard about calling yourself a conservative? I don't call myself that because, to be honest, whatever this mainstream conservatism is, I'm not really with it. I am a Christian first, and there you go, right? And I'm America first, but I'm America first with reality. I'm not some conservative, if you will, or America first person that's going to tell you, oh, America's the greatest and we do nothing wrong in the world and you just hate America if you have a criticism of America. Absolutely not. I don't fall for that. I used to fall for that. I don't. I'm very realistic about our military-industrial complex and what it's been doing across the globe, and the fact that we have troops out there in certain places for other nations, right? I would like for us to bring it all back, okay? So I'm real about these things, but what is the big deal about saying that you're a conservative?
But first up on the docket, we're going to get started in the world of President-elect Donald Trump, where ABC News is reporting black conservatives are feeling left out based on appointments and nominations for his upcoming term. Last month, Trump appointed Scott Turner, who was executive director of the White House Opportunity and Revitalization Council during Trump.
All right, so what you need to know. So, like, here's the thing. There's not anybody here really. Think there's the Scott Turner guy. I knew he was going to appoint a black person to HUD. So, okay, I'm going to explain to you these picks, okay? So,
Trump's first term to serve as Secretary of the Department of Housing and Urban Development. One area of frustration for many black Republicans was speculation that if Trump did nominate an African American to his administration, it would be at HUD, the department that has had the most black secretary appointments of any. At the time of this taping, 53 Trump nominees have been reported. One is black. That's it. And a total of 5 are people of color. Couple of things I wanted to bring up. I'm not surprised. Not surprised at all. Trump proclaims to be cool with the brothers and the fellas and what have you, and but when it's time to appoint people to positions of power, folks are choosing folks they're accustomed to, who look like them, share their cultural identity, things of that nature. You're expecting me to be overly critical of Trump about this. I'm not. The fact of the matter is that folks lost the right to complain. Folks lost the right to complain, even the black conservatives. Because if you're a black conservative, now remember, we're not talking about truth for a second. We're talking perception. If you are a black conservative and you heard about Project 2025 and you're looking at the Supreme Court and folks who've been placed on the Supreme Court and some of the decisions that they have made against things like affirmative action at institutions of higher learning and, of course, Roe v. Wade and other things. If you want to point to all of these things, you kind of knew this stuff was coming. See, in the end, at some point in time, we got to grow up and recognize the fact that Donald Trump, as much as folks want to accuse him of being a pathological liar, there are some things he was flat out open and honest about. That's what he's going. That is about him doing what he wants to do, when he wants to do, for whomever he wants to do it to, and everybody else be damned.
You people all make me sick, okay? Like, I've had it, okay? I've really tried to go through this with Stephen A. Smith like I did. I try to give him the benefit of the doubt. It's all emotions, okay? You're talking about perceptions. You're talking about Project 2025, and you're saying that black conservatives, and that's the thing, because they let themselves get labeled black conservative. Just be conservative, right? But because you're black conservative, when you put the black in front of anything, so now it becomes that you should be thinking this way. So even if you are conservative, you should be mad that there's people who are getting rid of affirmative action and abortion rights. But if I'm conservative and I'm a constitutionalist, it doesn't matter if I'm black. I'm not into that stuff. I'm not into that stuff. It has nothing to do with me being black or not. I'm really not. I don't put my race anymore on applications or anything like that. I'm not into that stuff at all. Once I realized what was going on, I was like, oh. If you don't want me because I'm me, and I'm glad that my name is Casey. I'm not trying to be funny. So is anybody with a beautiful, like more urban name or, more to the root of black culture kind of name. But I'm glad my name is Casey. So you don't know who's coming. You don't know who's coming, and I'm not putting my race on there. I'm not. If I'm not good enough, then you don't want me. Coming back to the point, it's like, oh, you shouldn't complain because you saw all this stuff with Project 2025 and you didn't say anything. Yeah, I don't know. I would like less degeneracy in this country, okay? Christians, black or white or Asian, whatever, failed when it came to this so-called gay marriage. It has nothing to do with, like, being just black conservative, okay? Now, the fact is, because he brought up Candace Owens and all these other people. Look, Byron Donalds, I don't know. I don't know why he's not picked for some part in the cabinet, but he's kind of young. Kash Patel was always going to go to FBI. Candace Owens was never going to get picked. Did y'all? So, are we talking or are we talking? Stephen A. Smith is going to tell you a bunch of racist stuff about racism and, Donald Trump is this and whatever, and still somehow try to glaze him. I'm going to tell you the inconvenient truth that nobody else is going to tell you, okay? If you did not see look, this is just what it is. If you didn't see who was giving Trump donations, big donations, and what flags he was standing with when he was talking about, make America great again. I mean, he at one point said, make Israel great again. You think Candace Owens was going to be allowed to be in that cabinet? I think that's the wrong name to use. I can understand maybe Byron Donalds or whatever, but maybe there were other people who were better for the job. See, the problem is this handing stuff over, right? It makes people feel like they only have to do the bare minimum because they're going to get something handed over to them because representation. You have to come correct.